All right, it's Current Events Tuesday. I had to really think there for a second. I was thinking mail call, then I was thinking random ramblings, but no, it is Current Events Tuesday.
Sure enough.
I'm Justin.
And I'm JP.
And we are the Podcasting Dead. JP, why do you say that so sad? Are you not happy being JP?
Sometimes I am, but sometimes it's a heavy cross to bear. And no one understands, though. Nobody understands.
Indeed, but we all admire your courage.
All right.
So this is the podcast of the week where we talk about current events. We search Google, Yahoo, and really just those two. Part of me always wants to say Bing, but I don't think anybody uses Bing anymore. We just search and find stories from around the internet from different sites like PR Newswire, Daily, Daily, what's the other one we use? Daily Mail. We have them all saved. Yeah. Time Magazine, stuff like that, and just find articles and talk about things happening in the world today. Before we begin, yes, we talk about The Walking Dead from the title if you're just finding us on the internet, but we also talk about Game of Thrones, which we've been pretty positive about it, but be ready because when that ends, we're going to do kind of a recap because we're kind of waiting until the last episode to decide how we feel about the whole season.
An all-inclusive recap.
But we will definitely, for those of you that have been negative Nancy's and you absolutely hate this season, we might be agreeing with you on some points. It just depends because we're going to go back and do a complete season recap and we're going to go through the things because we both, even though we've been very positive about it, there's quite a few things we don't like about this season. But again, you just right now everything is negative, so we're trying to be a little bit more positive. But for those that are not digging it, we will have a podcast that you'll probably be more in line with week after next. So be ready for that. But as for right now, we're talking about current events. If you're new to this channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button, like. It helps us out and doesn't cost you anything. And stay tuned after the podcast, and we will give you our social media info. I think I've covered all the bases before we start, right?
I think so. It was a good intro.
Yeah, so let's get started with our first story. Now, JP and I used to be somewhat gym rats. I mean, like we used to, you got to think there, man, for like 4 years solid, I was in the gym pretty much every day. And for at least a good 2 years, I'd say, I mean, for the most part, you were in there at least 3-4 times a week with me.
Yeah.
And then we kind of fell off. We said this was the week we were going to get back into it, so we're going to see.
Yeah, I pulled a muscle a couple times that really hurt.
You'll be okay.
Yeah.
But, so right here, I've got something interesting. If you don't want to go to the gym, but you want to work out and you also can't afford the equipment, I've got the 3 most effective exercises, according to Time Magazine, that you can do without equipment.
I'm curious.
So let's get it going. So this is according to an expert with the American Council on Exercise. I didn't even know they had a council for exercise. Burpees. You know what burpees are?
I think so.
I used to do those in the cardio section of the gym, like where you got the medicine ball. You know, it's more where people go to pull out the mats and do. You start in a standing position, drop down to a push-up, then pop back up, jump with your hands above your head, and then you repeat. That works a lot of stuff, man. It's one of the most exhausting ones. You do like chest, arms, shoulders, core, hips, legs, and butt, all with that one exercise.
Right.
Mountain climbers, we used to do those when we did ab work, which they're more for legs, but I'm just saying when we were doing like cardio circuits and stuff, we would do these where you get in the planking position, and then you stretch your legs out and you bring your knees to your chest like you're climbing a mountain, basically, kind of like you're running. You know what I'm saying? They work your legs, hit a bunch of muscles at once, and they're really good for cardio. And then finally, the Turkish get-ups. To be honest, I have never heard of a Turkish get-up. I don't even know what this is. They say you need to practice it before you do it. But basically, you start on your back with one hand pointed at the ceiling. Then, without letting it drop, you roll onto your side, plant one foot on the ground, and rise to your feet. So it's kind of like breakdancing?
That sounds crazy. What's wrong with just push-ups and sit-ups?
Well, sometimes they're just not enough to get the job done. Sometimes you have to go a little bit.
And what's the Turkish what?
Turkish get-ups.
Turkish get-ups.
Because basically, I think you're starting like this. Which I know that you, the listener, can't see me, but you got one hand up, one hand on the ground, and then you're rolling over and pop it up to your feet.
Sounds kind of like a Colombian necktie.
I think it sounds like.
I don't know if they're related or not.
That's pulling someone's tongue through their neck, right?
Oh, is that what that is?
I thought that's what that was, where you slit someone's throat and pull their tongue out of their neck.
That wouldn't be very good exercise.
I was going to say, so I don't know how that really would relate, but. But so, yeah, there you go. There's 3 exercises you can do at home. Maybe just Google online, like what kind of routine, how long you should do them, whatever. Moving on to an interesting article from Product Focus. The best inventions in the last 25 years. So this was a survey where they asked a bunch of people, what they thought the best inventions from the past 25 years were. And none of those, as seen on TV products, actually made the list. So,
really?
Surprise, surprise. But yeah, so here are the top 10 from that 25 list, though I've got some others. So anyways, this is a really confusing article, so sorry I sound so spaced on it. It's written kind of weird. So starting at number 10 and going down, tablet devices.
Okay.
Contactless payment, where you just hover your credit card or phone over the machine instead of swiping. I have never used one of those.
I never have either.
I guess being where we're from, we still find some places that don't accept anything but cash.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people use them, but it's all a mystery to me.
My buddy has a Galaxy, and he uses like Samsung Pay or whatever, which is like where you swipe your phone, and he loves it, but I hadn't got around to trying that yet. Number 8, flat screen TVs.
Okay, that's more of an innovation than an invention, but yeah, I'll take it.
Good way to put it. I didn't think about that. GPS. Definitely gotten me out of some rough spots. Stem cell technology at number 6. Online shopping platforms like Amazon at number 5, which are, pretty much the only way I buy things anymore.
Right.
It's like the adult version of Christmas. Like you order yourself stuff and then you wait for the magical postman or woman to drop it off at your house.
Yeah, man. The best thing is to get really drunk and then order it and you forget about it. So it's a nice surprise, later in the week.
Thing is, I rarely get blackout drunk. I'm talking like I'm usually more inclined to throw up and then pass out before I am to get that drunk.
Well,
so I probably would wake up and just remember and have regret. So it wouldn't be a big surprise for me. Online search engines like Google came in at number 4. Number 3 is online banking. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
that's how you know you're becoming an adult, when you appreciate online banking. Because, man, my bank's not even in my town. I have to drive an hour to get to the closest bank for who I use. And thanks to online banking and the app, it really doesn't matter. Number 2, smartphones. Man, we couldn't live without them. Say what we want, but we're on them all the time.
Yeah, sure enough.
And number 1, Wi-Fi. The internet didn't qualify because that's over 25 years old.
Nobody said like the 3D printer.
Let's see. Some other ones. YouTube just missed the list at number 11, coming in ahead of 3D printers at number 12.
There you go. Those are fascinating.
Oh, very. My buddy James, James,
yeah,
is thinking about buying one.
Really?
Yeah, he wants to get, because he said that you can, something about, he was telling me you can get a 3D printer and then you can print the parts that you need to upgrade the printer.
Yeah, man, it's so cool.
I don't know. It's very interesting. Netflix was at number 13. Skype came in at number 15. Electric cars were 16. Facebook was 19, and wireless headphones were number 20. So, yeah, pretty interesting, man.
Yeah, man, those Tesla cars. Have you seen one of those?
Yeah.
My pal, my Periscope pal Slim, he periscoped in a Tesla, and I mean, he didn't even have his hands on the wheels. It was driving itself. It was so.
Oh, really?
And he was in traffic, man. He was just.
Is it his car, or did
I don't know.
Was he just test driving?
I don't know the circumstances, but I mean, he was just like, get in the left lane, and it merged in the left lane, man.
Did he say it like that too?
He said it way cooler than that.
Because the way you said it sounded nice and aggressive. It was like, get in the left lane.
And man, he wasn't messing around with that Tesla, and it obeyed him, man. It was so incredible.
Well,
way of the future.
JP, how do you feel about Oreos?
I like them. I don't eat them all the time, but yeah, I like them. How are you not going to like an Oreo?
Right. So it's one of those things you don't actively seek all the time, but if somebody has one, you'll take a few.
Yeah, I don't like how they get all stuck so much in my teeth.
Well, Oreo actually, according to this article from Delish.com, Oreo just announced that they're rolling out new flavors this summer to keep you constantly eating.
Oh, of course they are.
Their Oreos. So number 1, this one I'm going to have to try. S'mores Oreo. I love s'mores, man.
That might be good.
Which I like really. I don't really like that many s'mores flavored things so much as I like an actual s'more.
Right.
But I would definitely try that Oreo. Latte Thins are coming out in June, as I am currently drinking a frozen caramel frappe.
That'll be right up your alley, pal.
I think that I might actually like that. Marshmallow Moon Oreos. They're basically regular Oreos, but they have a moon design on the cookies to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the moon landing. And the cream is purple.
Huh.
Pretty cool.
I wonder if NASA's getting a slice of that.
I don't know. Number 4, mint chocolate chip Oreos. Wow, they teamed up with Baskin Robbins, and it's going to be 2 layers of cream on the cookies, a mint layer and a chocolate layer.
I didn't know Baskin Robbins was even still doing its thing. I haven't seen one of those in a hot minute.
And number 5, maple cream Oreos. That sounds delicious. Basically golden vanilla cookies with maple flavored cream in between.
I'm telling you, man.
I'll try that.
I'm waiting for them to get on like the Lay's potato chip wagon, start with like a barbecue chicken flavored Oreos, like potatoes and gravy Oreos. You've seen those crazy tater chips. But no, man, I'll be honest with you, man. I could do a taste challenge, close my eyes. All those Oreos taste the same to me, 9 times out of 10, unless it's like a mint flavor. Like I've got the red velvet Oreos, and I'll just like, yeah, it's a
red
little
velvets,
different. Yeah, but I'll be like, yeah, it just kind of tastes. I don't know.
I feel you. Well, so Game of Thrones fans, a lot have not. Like I said, if you didn't listen to our Game of Thrones podcast yesterday, man, that thing was not well received.
They think we're kissing butt.
Probably. And the thing is, as we said earlier, you got to realize it's like The Walking Dead. Like, yes, we will admit problems with it, things that we don't like, but at the end, there's nothing but negativity coming out right now for Game of Thrones. So, I mean, do we want to do a podcast and just sound like we're chiming in with everyone else and being like, yeah, I thought the writing was rushed and yada, yada, yada. I don't know why I'm assuming people who don't like the show talk like this, but everybody's saying the same things. We get it. The writing's rushed. They're making we got it. So while we're not necessarily kissing the show's butt or trying to, we're more or less not so much ignoring the things that we don't like, but just talking about the things that we do like. You know, it's not like we're getting on there saying the show is absolutely flawless. We love it. This season's been amazing. We're just giving, I think I've said I've liked this season because if I'm being honest, I haven't had a Game of Thrones season yet that I didn't like. But at the end, we are going to do a recap, and we're going to go down and talk about all the things because there are several things I think could have been done way better. But
and I mean, if we can discuss the process a little bit, like basically we watch it Sunday night like everyone else. And I don't know about you. I don't really get a chance to watch it a second time to analyze.
No.
Like, I enjoy the first sitting. I don't really get to do a second analytical run. And then we get up and we're podcasting by like 7, 8 a.m. the next morning. So it's not like we have time to watch it, rewatch it, analyze, digest.
Well, we watch it and go straight to bed, too.
Right.
Like, I watch it and I'm asleep because I got to get up at 4:35.
We watch it. We go to bed. I tuck Justin in and, we have our warm milk and we get up and go to. Anyway.
Don't act like you don't be reading me a story before I go to sleep.
Sometimes.
Get out of here.
But no, it's, and much like yourself, I don't go online after and read the reviews and the critics and this and that. I try to just kind of form my own opinion and we talk about it organically.
Right.
So, I'm not out there reading the critics and the fan theories and the this and the that. So.
Yep. And I think that's something, too. We won't get the reason why we're talking Game of Thrones right now is because our next story coming from BuzzFeed is about Game of Thrones. But I will say that, it's I don't know, man. Like, I've not hated this season, but there are plenty of things I wish they'd have done differently, and we'll discuss those at the end of the season. But like you said, I think half the reason I feel a lot of the reason, somebody had commented yesterday and was like, the reason I don't like it has nothing to do with the lack of action. I need to rephrase better. When I say action, I don't necessarily mean fighting action. I just mean things happening. Like, you want big moves. You want more than just people conversating. You want, like, big plot twists, you know what I mean? So I should say more development in the story, I guess, as opposed to using the term action, because that seems to make people think of, like, fighting and stuff. But I think fan theories for this show, because it's got such a deep history, I feel like the one problem that some people, at least, not most people, but some people are having, is that they've got it in their head that all these fan theories are the way it was going to be, and it was going to be so awesome, and that's not come to fruition, and now they're let down. So like JP said, that's why JP said he avoids fan theories altogether. He doesn't want to know what people think Lord Varys is going to do or Daenerys is going to. He just wants to see it happen as it happens and react naturally. You know what I'm saying? Which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But so moving on, our next story, getting into the whole Game of Thrones thing, one of the most common complaints that I can completely understand is that they say this season feels rushed, that this season feels lazy, kind of like they just were like, all right, we want to be done with this. Let's write this, let's wrap it up, and move on.
Yeah.
And with that seems to be coming some edit mistakes in editing. We all know about the coffee cup from 2 Sundays ago.
Boy, what'd they do this time?
All right, so apparently everyone thought there was another editing error on Game of Thrones, but they were wrong. So, actually, it wasn't. As fans know, Jaime Lannister lost his hand in Season 3 and has been wearing a gold fake hand ever since. Yesterday, an image from Sunday's episode was going around the internet of Jaime with a real hand back. It was kind of like the coffee cup thing all over again, right?
Yeah.
Except it wasn't. The image never appeared in the episode. It was a promotional photo that was taken way back when the episode was filmed before the CGI was added. And it was briefly on HBO's website, and someone grabbed it before they could take it down. So even though that's not an editing mistake, in the show, it was an editing mistake in promotion. Mm-hmm. But people were saying that, they're so rushed they can't even get their editing right. That's 2 mistakes in a row. But actually, the second one wasn't really a mistake. It wasn't in the show. It was just a promotional picture that, so if you heard about that, there's the truth behind that. But yeah, man, we'll see how episode 6 pans out. Don't forget, like I said, we do podcast about it. And yesterday, man, people just were so mad at the episode and us. I mean, we started off getting tons of dislikes. I was like, man, whatever. You can't win them all, but it all panned out and at the end of the day. But I was like, man, people really don't like this episode, and they really don't like us liking this episode.
Yeah, man. Well, one thing about us, we love our fans, but we're not going to, alter our opinion to cater to fans.
Nah, absolutely not. Then it would just be a fake podcast.
Right. Give it to you 100.
Go get that from mainstream.
Exactly.
Oh, man. Sorry, I keep drinking my latte.
It tastes good.
My frappe. It's very good, but it's almost making me drool. It's weird.
Tongue's getting a little cold, a little numb, yeah.
Radio 101, don't drink or eat anything when you're on the radio unless it's water. And I say that because if you're eating between your on-air breaks and stuff like that, your mouth will start watering and salivating, and it makes life a lot harder. This morning, I just was having such a good morning because we slept in a little bit this morning.
Yeah,
we decided we were going to come in a little bit later,
today.
And we feel so much better. So I was like, I'm going to celebrate with a nice frozen caramel frappe, and completely didn't think, you know what, probably not a good idea when you got a podcast. But anyways, so moving on. Let's see what else is happening in the world today. We wouldn't be complete without a little dumb criminal news, right?
Oh, yeah, I love the dumb criminals. As long as they staying away from me. I like my criminals educated, savvy, all that kind of stuff.
All right, this one is really going to is going to throw you for a loop. This one's all right. This one's coming to us from CNN.com. A bus driver in Utah is being sued for racism against a biracial kid, and this guy says that he can't be racist. Wait for it. You ready?
All right.
He can't be racist because, quote, "Look at my dog. He's as black as could be."
Really?
This guy cites his dog as an indication that he's not racist.
But if you shaved his dog, it probably wouldn't be black, right?
They're usually like a pinkish color when you shave them, right?
Yeah.
And see, the reason why he's getting sued is because back in February, he closed the doors as a biracial 14-year-old kid was getting off the bus, and the kid's backpack got stuck, and the guy drove off anyway. The kid was dragged about 150 feet before he actually stopped and opened the doors. Now the kid's mom is suing the guy and the school district and says that John did it because of, quote, racial animus towards her son. She pointed at 2 other incidences where he was accused of racism in the past few years, but he says that he cannot be racist because his dog is black. I don't think it quite works that way.
Yeah, I'm going to reserve judgment, but there's really not... There's not a good, like I've heard people say, well, I can't be racist. I've dated black girls, and I just want to be like, dude, that's kind of like a Thomas Jefferson defense. He, smashed a lot of black women over the years, but he was still a slave owner, Right. I'm a fan of Tommy Jefferson. He laid the foundation for the country, but you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. I'm being rude. I'm sorry. Yeah, I understand. But it don't work that way. Keep it up with some more dumb criminal news. This one you're going to love, JP. Found this one online. I guess we could cite this for the Toronto Star. But who is one of the most iconic villains in comic book history to you?
My favorite's probably Magneto, but I'm guessing maybe you're talking about the Joker?
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so the Joker has struck in real life.
What?
All right, this is a minor crime, and it feels... like the Joker would take on bigger crimes than this, but whatever. The police in Toronto are looking for a guy who stole a tip jar from a restaurant last week while he was dressed as the Joker. For what it's worth, his makeup was the way, and the way that he styled his hair green looks closest to like Jared Leto's Joker, so it's the crappy Joker. Not like Heath Ledger or Jack Nicholson, but they released a surveillance photo. But what if this is like a real Joker? Like, what if this is the start of the Joker's real crime?
That's wild, man. Didn't just last mail call, which listener said she quit her job and stole the tip bucket and just walked out?
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, I did.
Was it Jovi Gal or Vixie Bixie?
Vixie Bixie is Jovi
Are they
Gal.
the same person? Yeah.
But yeah,
I can't remember who it was. Brienne. It was Brienne, right?
Maybe.
I can't remember.
I wouldn't worry too much about it because, again, he's the Jared Leto Joker, and that's just the worst Joker. So
yeah, should have dressed as Cesar Romero Joker like the Adam West Batman series.
Kept the mustache,
right?
Put paint over top of it.
That would have been good.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. What do I have? I've got a bunch of links here. Let's see what else we've got. Now, JP, you know I love my coffee, right?
Oh yeah.
That's no
You're a coffee drinking fool.
That's no mystery. When I go camp, I've always told people, as weird as this is going to make me sound weird, and I don't apologize. I like when I go backpacking. And we go camping, we climb up a mountain, we set up camp, and yeah, if hiking and if the whole thing was sex, for me the climax is waking up early the next morning and drinking a hot cup of coffee as like the sun comes up over the mountains. Like
now we're talking.
That's the highlight of the whole trip. I mean, yes, hiking and doing some like bushcrafting and all of that is great, and I absolutely love it, which is why I do it. But at the end of the day, my favorite, like the reward for all of that hard work and, is that nice hot cup of coffee in the morning, watching the sun come up over the horizon, yada, yada, yada. So that's how much I love coffee. It's my favorite part of my camping trips.
I'm telling you, man, I'd love to hear you talk about hiking, but have some like slow, sexy 70s porno music in the back.
Bow, baka, baka, bow, and then we climb those steep mountains and trudged through the valleys.
I pulled my machete out of its sheath.
Oh,
and I went to work.
Hacking and thrusting and slashing and thrusting.
Yeah.
All right, this is getting weird. So a coffee chain in California just sold cups of coffee for $75 each. And that was the whole point of me talking all of that coffee nonsense, was that I love coffee, but I am never going to pay $75 for a cup of coffee. The coffee is made from one of the rarest beans in the world, and it costs the shop more than $800 per pound to get it. Woo. So while I understand they're not necessarily ripping people off, they're just adjusting the price to make a profit and to justify how much they paid for it. I'm not going to give money for that.
Is that the coffee Jack Nicholson was so crazy about in Bucket List? You remember that?
God, man, I haven't seen Bucket List in so long.
Yeah, but it was some crazy coffee he loved, and then Morgan Freeman at the end of the movie told him that, like, monkeys poop it out or something.
Ugh.
I don't know.
I don't even remember. I have to go back and watch. It's been a long time since I've seen that. So, JP, this next story you're going to love because it involves sex.
Oh, yeah.
This is a pretty wild one. So, do you remember the Tamagotchi?
I do remember it.
Did you have one?
I think I had something. Maybe it was a Gigapet, but I had something like that, yeah.
Well, I had a Tamagotchi, and Tamagotchi, they've come and gone a few times, like over the last decade or two. Well, they're coming back again, and they are hornier than any version before.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're relaunching the Tamagotchi keychains, where you raise and care for your virtual pet, but there is a twist. If you put your keychain near friends, they can date, get married, and then they can get it on.
Oh, man. At first I thought you were going to say you can have sex with your Tamagotchi. I was like, man, this is going to a weird place, but all right, I'll get one.
Oh, God, the images that just popped into my head.
Yeah, putting your wiener up in that Tamagotchi. Yikes.
Oh, man. But you don't actually see them have sex. But once they're done, you and your friend both get an egg on your device, and it eventually hatches, and then you raise their baby, too.
Huh.
And then your baby Tamagotchi can eventually have a kid, too. The devices can handle up to 16 generations. Wow, that sounds like a lot of work for a Tamagotchi. But they come out in this summer. Well, actually, in like 2 months. Found that on Gizmodo.com. There's a picture of the new Tamagotchis. Are these in color? Oh, they're in color. Ours were just like little pixels, like the black and white pixels. Remember that?
Pretty basic, yeah.
Not
I'm
gonna lie.
surprised it hadn't just turned into like a phone app or something.
Did you ever have a Furby?
I never had. I remember them, but I never had one.
Man, I didn't ask for one, but like they were super popular, and they got my sister one, and I mean I was like 9 or something, and they got me one too. And man, that thing, I didn't like that thing.
No, man, they're creepy. I remember those were all the rage when I forget what grade it was, but man, it was a school project. We were supposed to come up with an invention. I had a great invention called Pants in a Can, which were pants in a can. Right. But all the girls in my group want to make the Furby clock, and I'm like, that's not an invention. That's just copyright infringement.
Let's just take it. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know though. Think about it though. I mean, did you invent the pants?
Well, it's more of a innovation than a invention, but still more clever than a Furby clock.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of basic, you know. It's like, let's take the Furby and make it into a clock.
It's because I had spilt milk all over my pants the week before, and I was like, man, if I could get pants out of a vending machine like soda, that would be awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're just somewhere, or like if you were like backpacking, you could keep them in the can and like it's air compressed, and then like if you have an emergency, you pop it open. It only opens once. But your pants come out and you have new pants. That's a cool idea, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I was ahead of my time.
You should still pursue that.
Hey, maybe I will.
So how would it be like the size of a soda can?
Yeah, it'd be in a vending machine, and maybe we'd launch a whole fashion line, canned clothing.
So, JP, I think it's safe to say that we both love to, quote, pig out, right? We love to go to Olive Garden or somewhere and just eat nonstop. Yeah. And we think, this is so bad for me, right? Well, a new study found that our bodies are pretty good at dealing with the occasional cheat day or eating more during the holidays. And it might not have any significant long-term effects, but only if, of course, you exercise and eat healthy all the other times. Right. But our bodies are adaptable. I think it's just the people that are like, you probably don't eat healthy any of the time. And then you eat even more unhealthy during the holidays or certain times. And then it just, but so exercise. That's
the key.
We were supposed to go to the gym yesterday, but JP just won't feel it. Won't have it. JP had a real true case of the Mondays yesterday.
Yeah, for real. I got like 3 hours sleep. I won't feel it. Won't feel it. Nothing. Got a good power nap though.
Yeah, well, that's always good.
Afternoon power nap, just what the doctor ordered.
So I'm trying to see if there's anything else to cover before we wrap this up.
I read a pretty crazy story the other day.
Let's hear it.
Did you hear about Dennis Rodman distracting a store owner so his friends could steal some yoga clothes or something crazy like that?
No, I did not.
It was wild. Yeah, man. Dennis Rodman, who I'm sure could just buy the whole store, was distracting a store owner so his friends could shoplift.
And when was this?
It was just last week. Literally just happened. So when he's not acting as unofficial ambassador to North Korea, he's, doing shoplifting capers.
Did he get charged with anything?
Yeah, his representative hasn't made a statement yet, but I think they're trying to pursue charges.
What a douche. He's just an all-around douche.
He's definitely an interesting person.
When he did the whole North Korea thing, of course, I was like, wow. But then when he, had enough, you remember when he did that commercial for the Super Bowl or whatever, where it was like North Korea one way and everybody was clapping or whatever. I was like, well, at least he's got a sense of humor about himself, but now he's back to being a douche in my mind.
Yeah, it's something like he broke. I can't remember. We'll have to maybe read it next time. But yeah, just Dennis Rodman up to some weird stuff.
So let that be a lesson. Don't hang out with Dennis Rodman.
Not unless, maybe if you're going to the strip club, it'd be fun. I bet that'd be a good time. I bet it'd be dollar bills in the air, Cavassier flowing like wine.
You've thought about this a lot, haven't you?
Yeah, I have.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for this week's current events. We appreciate you listening. Before we go, that social media info, you can follow JP on Periscope, all under lowercase, no underscores, nothing, just Jpslim, at Jpslim. That's right?
Yeah, that's it.
I can't talk today, so you got to bear with me. Also on Instagram.
Yeah, J_Radsaw. Radsaw.
So go follow him on both of those. You can find me on Instagram, Periscope, and Snapchat. Just I'm Justin Lloyd, all lowercase, no spaces, 2 L's in Lloyd, no apostrophes, nothing. Just I'm Justin Lloyd. and that'll get you Instagram, Snapchat, and Periscope. I can't talk. We've got a big conference call that we've got to do with the company here in a few minutes, so we're going to get off and do that. But we will catch you tomorrow for Random Rambling Wednesdays. I'm Justin.
And I'm JP.
And we are the Podcasting Dead.
Yep.